The world is now more divided than ever, and I want to create a movie that unites everyone or hating it. Why hate? Well, creating something new, original, and inspiring turns out really hard, but making something that everyone hates, well, that's my domain. How do we make a movie that's hated of all time? Two words come to mind: butcher, nostalgia. So let's take out our IP catalog. What we haven't remade, reboot, or created a live action? Did we save the Christmas? The Rock, the Dwayne Johnson already did that. What about we create a Snow White in the live action and make it more teachy and preachy? So if anyone goes to the theater, they should be like, well, this is the worst lecture of all time. Step two, well, this is how we gaslight people. Let's cast someone who is preachy, teachy, bratty, noisy, whiny, but slightly pretty, but most importantly, not white as a Snow White, who can with one speech single-handedly unite entire nation. Won't that ruin her career? Well, for a couple of years it might be, but after one or two good movies in future, people will forget. That's how it will always work out. It's a win-win situation for all. This Snow White is so confident, she doesn't need anyone's permission to enter their home. She can go in your home and take a nap. Why? Well, if you ask permission, they might say no. This Snow White doesn't need any man's help except in living in their house or saving her or taking an arrow for her or fighting the evil mother for her. Except for that, she's self-reliant. She doesn't need anyone. And the Snow White stand for kindness, gratitude. But this Snow White is so kind to ask dwarves to clean their house for her. This god should be capable of talking over social media about their personal political belief. That's how you make them hate the cast as well. Here is a little Easter egg. When the dwarf first saw Snow White, they will be petrified, and somehow that will be most relatable scene for the audience. And when she says she's Snow White, people in the grave should roll over. Let's cast someone who is more prettier than Snow White so that people should think, well, that mirror is powered by Apple's intelligence. This mother doesn't know how to sing, act, or change her accent, or can't even move her neck in that costume. Well, for the maximum suffering, here's the final nail in the coffin. Let's make it a musical. So people in the end should root for the apple. And that's how we make a movie that everyone said, and that's how we unite people. Hey everyone, thank you for clicking on the video. So today we're gonna watch Snow White pitch meeting. I already added my take in the beginning. If you haven't watched that, please go and check out. And without further ado, let's start.
So, you have that live action Snow White script for me? Yes, sir, I do. Oh boy, time to tap into that hardcore Snow White audience. So, at the beginning of the movie, we find out that Snow
Hardcore Snow White audience. Well, it's really hard to imagine that.
White's parents named her that because she was born in a snowstorm. Naming your kid after the weather conditions at their birth is a good strategy. That's why I named my son Mistifer. It's why I named my daughter partly Claudia. Anyway, a couple years later, Snow White's mom
What is Christopher? Christopher? Oh, I'm not sure what that stands for. But Claudia, I get.
dies. Dies from what? From being a parent in a Disney movie. Oh, that'll get you. So then the king meets the evil queen and marries her. Why would he marry someone named the evil queen? Should have probably been a red flag. Yeah. Do you have anyone in mind to play her? You know.
Back then, there was no red flag, I guess.
Oh, just someone who can deliver her lines. No deal! Oh my god. So then what happens? Well, then the frickin' dad disappears and she seizes the throne. Oh no. Yeah, and stuff is dire in the kingdom under her rule. We're talking very muted colors and some dust. That sounds like a nightmare. It's worse than hell. So anyway, then Snow White grows up and her entire facial structure changes and she gets a little Lord Farquaad bob. And everyone assumes she...
Bob. Well, that somehow is really accurate.
She's dead, but she's actually working as a maid inside the castle. Why would she be presumed dead if she's been walking around the castle this whole time? Unclear. But one day this cute thief steals some potatoes and he gets sentenced to death, so she goes to save him. How does she manage that?
Just to go back.
Thief steals some potatoes and he gets sentenced.
See the costume on Gal Gadot? She cannot turn her neck. Like she cannot move it. She has to turn entire body to look back. Well, that's a ridiculous costume. I think that's how Batman costume should work. That you cannot move your neck.
Sentenced to death, so she goes to save him. How does she manage that? Well, he was just kind of tied to a fence with some loose rope, so she gives it a light tug and saves him. Solving problems with a light tug is tight. Okay, so who's this dashing man? What's his dashing name? Oh, you're gonna like this. Jonathan? Anyway, then the magic mirror...
Horse hammer.
tells the queen that Lord Farquaad is fairer than her, so she's like, well, she's gotta die now. She wants Snow White dead. Why'd she keep her alive in the first place? Unclear. So then the queen tells this huntsman to kill Snow White, but he sets her free into the forest. Okay,
She doesn't
that's when
need
we're
any
gonna
man's
see her
help.
iconic outfit. Oh, I've got a coupon code for a site called Temu. Maybe we could get one off of there. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, that makes sense. So that's why Rachel Ziegler were complaining about her costume because it was from Temu.
So anyway, then she finds a house and does a little B&E and takes a nap. Just straight into bed. Sir, she's had
She doesn't take anyone's permission to go in their house. She's more confident.
a big day. She ran through trees, fell in water, and saw a bunch of CGI animals. That's a good point. So then we're gonna meet the CGI dwarves, and oh boy, do they look like living corpses. And what's their deal? Well, they work in the mines. For who? Hey, shut up, and they have magic powers. They do? Tell me about those. I'd rather not. We're just gonna show them having glowing hands once and then never mention it again. Fair enough. And then we're gonna have them sing hi-ho. Very polite. Promiscuous women deserve to be greeted, too. What? So then what happened?
That's why Santa says ho ho ho. That's one kind of hi ho.
Well, later, Snow White's gonna meet up with Jonathan again and his friends, the Seven Bandits. Oh, we're meeting a whole other group of seven. Yeah, one group of seven's not gonna be enough this time around. The fans are clamoring for more groups of seven, are they? Yes. Feels like it'll be tough for people to get attached to this many characters. Actually, maybe, yeah, that's a good point. I don't care, though. Oh, okay. So then they're gonna get attacked by the Queen's soldiers and Jonathan's gonna jump in front of an arrow that was gonna hit Snow White. Is he okay? Yep. All right. So let's not talk about it again ever. That works for me. Anyway, Jonathan takes off to look for Snow White's dad because he might still be alive, and he gets captured. Oh no. Yeah, so he gets tossed in a freaking prison cell along with that huntsman guy. Oh no. Yeah, and he tries pulling on his chains to get free, but it's no use. He's stuck in there. Well, sounds like it's gonna be impossible for him to break out of there. Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, see, both him and the huntsman pull on the chains, and then that works, and they get free. Had nobody
So that's how chains work. Good to know.
ever tried that before? Guess not. And there aren't any guards around? None. Well, fantastic. But now the evil queen knows that Snow White's still alive, so she disguises herself as an old woman and convinces her to eat a poison apple.
Root for the
To
apple.
make her sleep real hard unless someone kisses her unconscious body with some real feelings behind it. Why not try that arrow strategy again? Because they tried that once and it didn't work, and by movie logic, they cannot try again. I feel like it might eventually work, though, if you keep shooting arrows at her. Impossible. So all the CGI animals see that the queen is doing this to Snow White, so they take off to warn the dwarves. Why don't they warn Snow White if they're right there with her? Hey, shut up again. So then the dwarves get back, but they're too late. Snow White is
Two
very
shut-ups.
much asleep. Wow, I wonder if she'll wake up. She will, because Jonathan's gonna plop his big wet lips on what he thinks is her dead corpse. Very romantic. So she wakes up, and now they gotta go confront this frickin'
Why was in the original book or movie that was the scene that he kissed the corpse?
queen. Yeah, they better. How are they gonna take her down? Well, Snow White's got a trick up her sleeve. She reveals that she remembers the names and professions of the people that now work for the queen. Okay, so, that solves everything and everyone turns against the queen. Wow, well, thank God that worked and that the queen didn't try that arrow thing again. Well, it would have been no match for knowing that this one guard's name is Paul. I guess not. So then the queen destroys the magic mirror, which absorbs her into it, which is how it works now, I decided. Great, so what do you think? Hey, listen, you've described a movie. You're darn right, in court you wouldn't be able to argue otherwise. And the movie you
In court.
described, well, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Here is my theory. The producer doesn't know the writer guy's name, so that's why he turned on him and made the movie like this. Think about that. Somehow, in some movies, Ryan George doesn't even have to work hard because some movie has written themselves like everything is a plot hole. So, well, it's a super easy fit meeting for Ryan, and it's obviously hilarious because he's a funny guy. Well, the movie was, even if there was no controversy at all, this would have done the same thing. But obviously the controversy helped for people to unite. But the movie wasn't that bad. It was horrible, but wasn't that bad. Well, the pitch meeting, as usual, is hilarious, and he just described the entire movie, and he didn't even have to write a single joke. because everything in the movie was a plot hole, and well, it's an easy snatch for Ryan. And if you enjoyed the reaction, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.